Hi, this is Savante Myrick. I am the mayor of the city of Ithaca, and it is my real pleasure to welcome you, cycling enthusiasts and members of the Major Taylor cycling clubs from around the country, to Ithaca, to the Finger Lakes, to our community. What you are doing with the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride combines things that are at the core of what we cherish and value here in Ithaca, from the health, cultural, and sustainability benefits of cycling to the history, particularly recognizing the history of those brave folks, abolitionists, and freedom fighters who worked to liberate people from oppression. We appreciate that you are here, and we want to welcome you to our area.
Tell me, what is the Underground Railroad Research Project specifically?
Well, this is a project that I'm giving it that name now because, as I said, I started this course with undergraduates a few years ago. 2020 was a strange year because it was a devastating year health-wise, nationally, internationally. But what also happened was I had colleagues, for example, in the archaeology department. They go on the other side of the world when they're doing their work, right? But they had to stay here. And so they stepped up and asked me if they could be involved in my research on the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
Right? Same thing happened with other programs and other colleagues. So all of a sudden, I have 4 or 5 faculty working with me.
Okay.
So it's no longer just me.
Great.
So I've decided to call it the Underground Railroad Research Project. Because it just means, and what does that include? It includes an archaeological dig that we're going to do in the St. James Church starting in September through November on Saturdays. That will include Cornell students doing this, but also students, roughly teenagers from downtown, so that they can come together and see history and science together in an archaeological dig of their own Underground Railroad station here from September to November. That's one of the projects.
Well, since Irv and I started this journey about 14 months ago, I've been doing a lot of research and and asking a lot of questions of a lot of different people. And I think the first thing I'd like to say is thank you, because it's my understanding that you've been the steward of the Harriet Tubman Home for the past 30 years, you and your wife.
Yes, we have. My wife and I, we've been here for 30 years. I came to Washington, D.C. back in 1990, and one of the major reasons why we came is because we realized that if we don't protect our history, it gets into someone else's hands, and then it no longer becomes our story, it becomes his story.
Very good.
So we decided we would sacrifice. I was an interior design consultant for a major firm in Washington, D.C., $1 million salesperson. But I thought this was more important at that point, so I gave that up to do this.
Yes.
Or put it on hold to do this, I should say.
So I just, wanted to say, first of all, thank you, because if it weren't for the work that you do specifically, we might not even be planning this trip here in 2021. So that's a giant sacrifice that you've made in your personal life to be the steward or caretaker of Harriet Tubman's legacy. Thanks, man.
Thanks. It was an honor. It's an honor. It is an honor.
It is. I'm honored to be sitting here with you.
Me too.
Planning the Harriet Tubman Freedom Ride has been an incredible journey. I've been joined by 10 members of my club. I enjoy the untethered support of my board. But more importantly, we've been greeted by the Ithaca community and a spirit of hospitality and volunteerism that is over the top. And I just got to call out a few people and a few organizations that have stepped up and helped us with everything from traffic control to catering selection to Rest Stop volunteers. First and foremost, I got to give a shout out to the Southside Community Center, and especially to the chairman of the board, Dr. Nia Nunn, board member Amos Malone, who is also pastor of Second Chance Ministries, and to the newly elected executive director, Siobhan Brunch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Likewise, the Bike Walk Tompkins organization, Finger Lakes Cycling Club, Professor Gerard Atching, Cornell University, the Harriet Tubman Home, Black Cat Cyclery in Dryden. Thank you so much, Mason Wilson. St. James AME Zion Church, and a special shout out to my brother, Reverend Terrence King, the pastor at St. James, and my fraternity brother. And then lastly, to the state ranger and staff at the New York Equal Rights Heritage Center in Auburn, New York. This is Glenn Christopher wrapping up another episode of Harriet Tubman Recon.